Thank you for taking time and joining our masterclass today. So, today's masterclass, we'll be talking about how you can boost your revenue, especially via cross sell, upsell, and restocking flows. So, I can see we have some of our customers and a few new attendees for the webinar. So, thanks for joining again. And today we have Alvin, who is our D2C automation expert. He will take you through the webinar where he'll talk about the importance of cross sell, upsell, and also show you how we can implement it using our solution, BIG. So, I'll give you a brief about what BIG is. So, BIG is an all in one marketing platform where you can solve all your marketing campaigns through a centralized platform. We also do personalized journeys and a lot more, and we'll be covering how we can retarget and improve your conversion and revenues through our solution. So for the webinar, during the webinar, you can drop in your questions in the Q&A box. We will take it up as and when we complete each section. And I think we can start the webinar. Over to you, Alvin.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Ipshita. Just double checking the screen is shared and I am audible.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Thursday. We'll quickly go over what we'll cover today. So, largely around why you need cross sell and upsell journeys, restocking journeys, what essentially entails in this, and how do you find the right fit for your business, your target segment, your kind of products. And lastly, how is it that you can implement this? There's some smartness that we'll have to kind of use to get good outcome out of all of this. So we'll largely be covering the why, what, and how of cross-sell, upsell, restock journeys. Uh, Without further ado, we'll start, but just reiterating what Ipshita just mentioned. Just feel free to keep pulling in your questions. We'll have checkpoints in between to just answer those questions and make sure that everyone's clear on what we're discussing. Yeah. Cool. So we can start in that case. Let's start with the big question: why do you need cross sell and upsell? Right. So one of the fundamental problems which D2C ecosystem is now facing is, like, as you can see, the three major points which we have. One is an ever increasing CAC and conversion rates after that. And then how do we increase the customer lifetime value or the average order value? We'll look quickly at these. CAC is on the rise. Wherever you look, your Facebook, Google ads are getting costlier, your keywords are getting costlier. They were, a gold mine somewhere around like 2, 3 years ago, but now it's increasing every month on month, it's increasing. However, at the same time, your AOV or the margins you have on your products are not increasing at the same rate, which means that we are entering a stage where acquiring new customers to sell products is not the only solution which can help your business. You also have to look at your existing customers, how to get more juice out of them. The second good point here is selling to a current customer gives you a very high conversion rate, and this obviously depends on what your quality of service or quality of product was. But any given day, someone who's already purchased from you is much more likely to purchase again, right? Compared to getting bulk leads from your Google and Facebook ads, and then expecting and 5 to 20% is a very high conversion rate, which I've mentioned here. But even then, there's a significant difference in the conversion rates you can observe when it comes to new customers versus your current existing customers. One major reason here is that you can skip the product discovery journey altogether. You don't have to spend time and money in figuring out what your customer is looking for, because they've already purchased something, right? There's a high intent. You have a good understanding of what their needs are, what their problems are, what their price point fit is. All of this will help you to kind of pitch the next product much more easier, right? The last part is, traditionally when we look at acquiring a customer and then selling them something, we usually it becomes very difficult to recover the CAC in a single transaction, right? And this is where the crux of this webinar is that how is it that you can increase your repeat purchases, right? And a simple like I think top of the funnel, every customer like who has purchased from you, you can send them a like a standard message and hope that something happens, right? But what we are trying to figure out is that how is it that you can do this at a very low cost while making sure that what you're pitching to your customers is something that they want or they need exactly, right? So what we'll cover today is how is it that we can recover CAC through multiple transactions? How is it that we can spend a minimal WhatsApp message or an email cost and then reinitiate a transaction from a customer, and thereby converting a single purchase into a recurring order, or if everything goes well, then probably a subscription kind of a thing. Cool. So before we jump ahead, a quick poll for you all, and you don't have to put in exact numbers, just to get a sense of what kind of problems you are dealing with. We know that as an industry standard in the D2C space, the CAC is increasing. Just to get a sense of it, there's a poll for you guys. Just fill it in. We'll take half a minute for this, and then we can move forward. Cool. I hope you have put in some numbers. This is again just to understand like how is it that we can solve your problems better. You like as marketers, you obviously have a good grasp on what your CAC is to what your average order value looks like, and if like for a good business that usually has to maintain a good ratio, right? So just to get a sense of that, we can move uh, forward. The next question is what exactly is cross sell, upsell, or restock? For folks who don't know yet, we'll quickly glance over this. Cross sell is essentially pitching additional products which complement the initial purchase. So, for example, someone's purchasing a phone like from your store, and you'd want to suggest, hey, why don't you get a charger? Why don't you get a phone case? Why don't you get a phone stand? So these are all cross sells, which is associated with your first purchase, but usually like at most of the times it's usually smaller ticket items which are bundled together. The next part is an upsell where you customers have entered your ecosystem with a smaller purchase, but now you want to gradually make them spend more, get them to purchase bigger items. Like some ways are like a few of our clients do is they have free samples which go out in their customary orders. Let's say the order value is greater than 1,000, they have some free sample that goes in, and now they want customers to purchase the actual SKU of that free sample. Now the free sample is going to be a 100 ml pouch or a 50 ml pouch, but your actual product is going to be a bigger item. The next part is restock, and this again works for slightly different industries. Works exceptionally well for all of your skincare, healthcare products, where you know that there is a certain lifetime to what you have sold. So, for example, like the example which has been mentioned here, right? You're giving a sample for a shampoo that probably lasts, a month, or a small SKU like a 500 ml kind of a bottle, which that it's going to last somewhere between 1 to 2 months, and you exactly know when the customer is going to be looking for, restocking that purchase again, and that's when you kick in. That's when you suggest that, hey, why don't you either purchase the same SKU again or purchase a higher value SKU. So today we'll cover largely on how we can go about these. Uh, any questions till now? If anyone has, just feel free to add in the in your question panel. We'll just quickly go through them if there are any questions. Anything you specifically want to be covered in this webinar as well, just feel free to add them.
Sangeeta, you can drop your question in the Q&A box. We'll pick it up from there. If that's the reason you're raising your hand.
No worries, no worries. Just feel free to take your time. We have certain checkpoints in between. We can take a minute here to just go about this.
Alvin,
Yeah.
we have one question,
Yeah.
Sangeeta.
So so the question is, when we upload these templates, how do we ensure that the repetitive product mentions are not going out? Often people purchase more than 2 to 3 products in one go. So yeah, Sangeeta, I think within our platform we have a couple of features which help you solve this. So we have separate event triggers for order placed as well as product purchased. So product purchase gets sent for every item in that order. So let's say someone purchases places an order with three products. Then if you use product purchased as an event, then it'll get triggered three times, a potential of three messages going. If you put it at ordered, then it'll happen only once. The second part is there's something called a frequency cap, which we have in each trigger, which you can set that, hey, this flow should be triggered for a user only once in X hours. Could be 24 hours, could be 2 days, could be a week. So this kind of limits us that, hey, if someone's purchased more than like three, four products, we don't want four different messages for four different products going on. We can control this with either frequency capping or directly using an order placed and ordered event, or a product delivered instead of order delivered instead of product delivered. So product delivered. So for example, if there is one order with three products, you will have one order trigger with three purchased a product triggers. Similarly, you'll have one order delivered trigger and three purchased a product delivered trigger. So you can choose between these. There are people who ideally want ki, hey, we want separate messages to go out. So we have this flexibility. You can just put a frequency cap wherever you want ki, hey, I just want it to be sent once to a customer. Does that answer your question? Cool. Folks, just feel free to keep on adding in questions. We will, uh, kind of. Got it. Got it. Sangeeta, we can take this a little more offline as well. Like GSMs can reach out to you to help you set up this exact use case. But completely aligned with this question, we do have the solution in place for this. Cool. I'll just move forward. So, how do we set up, efficient cross sell and upsell journeys? Uh, as we enter this part, just before this, just want to quickly know what your remarketing conversion rates look like. So usually on websites, it's anywhere between 1 to 2%, right, of all the people that come in. But when you try to look at remarketing efforts, this conversion rate ideally should be a little higher. However, there's a specific value, a specific benefit we have when we are remarketing, and that is purely the knowledge that we know what they have purchased before, right? And because we know that, we can very comfortably pitch specific products to specific people. We know the intent, we know what people have been looking for, and therefore, ideally, it should have a much higher, conversion rate than what we get on the, a normal website. Your normal marketing channel, ideally, your remarketing should give you a better conversion rate. Hoping you have, quickly gone through the poll. We largely break this into two pieces. One is how do we understand our current purchase trends, and second is how do we automate as well as personalize. Right. So the second part is like really really important. We'll get to that in detail. But having said that, the first part is equally important. So how is it that as a business you understand your current purchase trends? Now the reason why we want to spend some time to like introspect and look at what we like, as a business how we are performing is because your product, your segment and your industry plays a huge role in what and how you can cross sell and upsell, right? So for example, fashion cross selling, clothing brands cross selling would be largely very very different from a healthcare product, or similarly a skincare product might have a very different journey from a jewelry product, right? Similarly for electronics. So there's a lot to do with what industry you are in and what customer segment you're targeting, right? So let's answer these big four questions in the next four slides. The first is, what do your repeat customers usually buy, right? And this is something you can do either on your own or we can help you out here. The first is to analyze your Shopify order history and figure out what your repeat customers come back for. So it's easy to make correlations that, hey, usually people who come back after purchasing from collection one, they usually go for collection two, or all people who have bought product one usually end up buying product two, right? And similar insight you can also get from these multi product orders, right? These are the five products which are clubbed together usually in one order. So it makes sense that any other customer who's purchased one of those, it makes sense that the rest of the four can also be recommended to that customer. Again, we can figure this out by spending a little more time from your own, Shopify order history. There are downloads available. There are tools which give you very high level insight here. But if you want a deeper analysis, this is something which we can definitely help you out in. In fact, we have done this for a few clients. We can definitely work together in understanding what your order history means. So out of this one, the simplest use case which you can do is, customer who buys product one, you should recommend product two. Similarly, customer who buys from collection one, you would ideally want to recommend from collection two. A clear-cut example would be, let's say you are an electronics brand with two clear collections. You have a watch segment and you have an audio segment. And anyone who purchases a watch, that there's a very less chance that they'll be purchasing another watch within 1 year. So it stands to good reason that you'd ideally want to recommend that, hey, why don't you purchase some audio product in the meanwhile, right? However, this would again be different for a healthcare product essentially, where the relevant need is from collection one, so the next upsell should be from collection one, right? The second part is there's another, this is another simple way to do it, is that that almost in all stores, all brands, and this is very prevalent across, that some 20% of your products bring in 80% of your business, right? Now, if that is the case, it becomes very easy to recommend those high conversion rate products to everyone who's not purchasing them. This helps you, have a, very clear line that, hey, I don't have to put too much effort here. I know that this is a product that gets sold. Anyone who's not purchasing this product and they're purchasing something else, I just have to recommend, hey, this is something that customers really like, really love. Why don't you try this out, right? We'll show a few examples where customers are doing this really well, where they use customer reviews, customer videos as the next retargeting message that, hey, hope you're enjoying product one which you bought, but 90% of our customers have bought product two, and this is what they are saying, right? And you can always end all of these with pre-made checkout links, which they just have to click. The product would be added to their pre-added to their cart. If we already have their address details and all of those will also be populated. They just have to end with a payment step. The next part is like, now this the last two pieces, the what categories can you cross sell and upsell with, and pitching relevant products. These are two things which might require a little bit of homework from your end. And this is where I think the marketing ingenuity which you guys bring to the table will help. So, for example, I mentioned two examples here, and this again comes from what we have seen people do. We mentioned this one, right? When someone buys a phone, why not give them a phone case? Why not give them a charger? Why not give them accessories which are around that product, right? Which we know that have a very close association with that prime product. The second like example here is customer buys a plant. You send an order confirmation message. You send an order delivery message, but don't stop at that. When you send an order delivery message, send them a simple guide that, hey, this is how you're supposed to take care of the plant. Another 15 days later, do a simple health check that, hey, how's your plant? Do you need anything else? Would you want a beautiful looking pot with it? Would you want some fertilizers? Would you want a watering can, right? These all things then kind of club together with that prime product which they bought in the first place. Again, for this, you would also need to understand that, hey, whenever someone purchases from this category one, like this in this example, someone purchases a plant, then my plant pots, my fertilizers, my home gardening kits, these collections are the obvious ones which I need to recommend again. Similarly, like someone buys a phone, then accessories is the segment that I have to go next. The last part is, how do you understand what the customer intent is and then suggest something for them? And this works beautifully in case of skincare products, in cases of electronic gadgets, in cases of where you can very clearly identify why the person purchased it, right? So one common theme which we see, again, for an example here, is someone purchases something like a face wash for oily skin, right? They're suffering from oily skin. This is very evident from the purchase they've made. any other product which you have which solves that same use case is a good sell for that customer, right? Similarly, if someone is very intent on keeping themselves well groomed, they've ordered a trimmer. Why not suggest them beard oil? Why not suggest them a few more products which are catering to the same use case, right? And this extends across this works for healthcare. This works for if you're selling bags, it works. It works as long as you have a very good idea on why the customer purchased this, right? And if you have this kind of a segmentation pre-made at your end, like nothing's easier than this. And this obviously gives you the highest returns as well. It works beautifully for healthcare. Someone purchased a something for digestion issues, right? Any and all products which are linked with that issue per se are good sales for that customer. Will definitely get you good conversion rate. Yep. Before we move ahead, just would want to uh, open up for questions. I have a question from Vijay. All this will need a lot of data. What's the minimum daily order volume where your product will be able to do justice? So, Vijay, see, marketing tools, marketing automation tools, none of them have a one shoe fit all solution on day one, right? It's always going to be an experimentation. And you'll have to run those experimentations. I would suggest that we start from a collection level where we have some degree of association between collection orders. And there are simpler things also which you can start off with, right? You don't have to directly jump into keep every product on my store is mapped with another product. You don't have to do that. You can pick five of your bestseller products and you can map them to associated products. We can start small. We can also go a little bit of logical here, right? Keep product one agar purchase हुआ तो product two is the most logically next purchasable product, right? And this works very well if you have a low SKU count. If you do have a high SKU count, then we suggest that you ideally need to have a significant amount of folks who have made more than one purchases to let data answer this question for you, right? So how I would suggest is like a good path to take here is go with your let's have a logical conversation here that if someone purchases product one, what are the most obvious products that we can suggest to them? You don't have to have a laundry list of every product in your store. Let's say you have 100 SKUs. You don't have to map here first SKU खरीदा तो second suggest करो, second खरीदा तो third suggest करो. You don't need that mapping. You just need कि यार if any of these five products if someone purchases, then recommend these. For any other product, then we can have a generic message to begin with. Then we can slowly start fine tuning this. Yep, I hope I answered your question here. Uh, yep, I'll just move it. Cool. I think there was an intermittent video issue. Are we good now? Uh, Audible and video is available, Ipshita? Audible.
Yes,
Cool.
you're audible, but your video is also visible.
Yeah, cool. If in case there's an intermittent issue, I'll just turn off my video so that we can still at least go ahead with the presentation. Cool. Now the core of this, that how like funda we have all gone through. We have all gone through the theory part of it. Now let's figure out how is it that we set this up, right? Yeah. So the first point to this is to identify the right time to nudge the customer, right? Uh, I'll tell you this upfront. There is again no one solution to this. It works differently for your business. It will work differently for some other business selling the same thing also, probably, right? So one of the key things which we have at least noticed folks doing is there are multiple triggers which we have in our systems. We have product purchased, we have product delivered, we have once a product is delivered, we can ask for reviews and post reviews. So you have to figure out what's the right time when a customer is at a high intent, right? It could be right after you are making an event, you're shipping a product, you're delivering a product, customer has just placed a product, placed an order, or it could be X days after delivery. So for example, for restock use cases, right, where you know that someone's purchased A and it's surely going to run out in a month. So why not have a restock journey 25 days down the line, right? or 10 days down the line, 15 days down the line, and this might vary at an SKU level, right? So you could have, again, I'm taking a very odd example here, but let's say it's a 1 liter juice carton, right? That you're hoping that would finish in 3 4 days. But at the same time, taking groceries for an example, but let's say it's a 5 kg atta bag, and that you know that it's going to last much longer than like just 1 week, right? So this is something, then again you can set up that, hey, if it's product one, then let's wait for 10 days. If it's product two, let's wait for a month, right? So these are all combinations which you can use, which you'll also have to figure out based on, again, we talked about this, right? We have to look at our own data first, correct? So the key aspect is to identify for your business, for your users, what is the right time to nudge them. You could nudge them as soon as a product is delivered, that hey, we are hoping that you're going to have an amazing time with this product, but in the meanwhile, why don't you check out the rest of the things? Or you could wait for 10 days and say that, hey, we hope that the product was up to mark, hope you loved it, and we think that this is something you might like. Similarly, you could do that, hey, we got to know that your product is about to run out, why don't you restock it, right? So these are all examples for the same use case essentially, but you will have to kind of design on how it'll work for your business. I'll give you a few examples here. We'll kind of gloss over them. uh, this is more around how is it that you can bring a little more contextuality on what you're upselling and how you can personalize it a bit. So we have four examples. The first one is plain and simple. Person buys from collection one, suggest a product from collection two. The example here is a jewelry store. Someone purchased a necklace. You'd want to recommend bangles, and you'd want to do the other way around as well, where someone purchases bangles and you'd want to pair it with jhumkas, or you'd pair it with necklace probably. This any mapping is something which you can set it up, but essentially the trick here is to make sure that you know that, hey, what goes well together, right? You possibly won't be selling like gold jewelry along with leather boots, right? So that's a obvious call which you'll have to figure out on what collection works with what collection, right? What's a good upsell here? Another example is, like I told you, that sometimes customer reviews or that user trust factor, right? Where generating trust with users, that helps you land your next sale. And now in this is the first thing which we discussed as well. You know that there is one product which like sells like hotcakes. You know that it's going to get sold. It's got a good conversion rate. It's got good reviews. It's got good sales numbers. Anyone who purchases, like, let's say a product apart from that ABC, send this message out, right? So you could send them out a video with a video of a review. You could send them out with a a good influencer who's done a review for your product. Share that as a video. The best part about here is that the link below, right? This can be pre-created with that product in the cart. There's minimal steps for the users. All they have to do is click on this link. It'll open up into their checkout directly. They just have to make a payment. The address is pre-populated. Everything is pre-populated for them. If you're using fast checkout partners, even then it works smoothly, right? So this is a scenario where for any product that is purchased, you are pushing one particular product or one particular collection, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a product as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be a checkout link as well. You can redirect them to a website. You can redirect them with a catchier CTA which says that, hey, new deals available. You can add deals in these messages saying that, hey, given that you are a loyal customer, this is something which we're offering you, right? These are all things which you'd be able to kind of set up from your end within the journey builder with absolutely no overheads. You build it once, you let it stay there, it'll keep on working on its own. You just have to come back once in a while and see whether it's working as per your expectations. Another example, now this is a use case to use case mapping. This would be where you know why a particular person purchased a product. Like we discussed earlier, if someone purchased a sunscreen which is good for an oily skin, recommend them a face wash, right? Again, for oily skin. Now, this, like I said, works beautifully for skincare products, beautifully for any of your cosmetic brands, your healthcare products, anything where a symptom is something which you can kind of zero down on. Even if you have a general idea, that's good enough, right? And the last part is a restock kind of a journey. And this is again something a few of our clients do. This is I'll give you an example. We have a customer who sends out, who has an SKU, which is a trial sample, right? It has three or four small packaged samples for pet food. And largely in this industry, this for pets at least, you have to try out what works for your pet. So you get a trial sample. The next time you ask the customer, hey, you got four trial samples. I have these four products. Which one did you like? Right? Based on the response, you can then generate a checkout link for them saying that, hey, everything's ready. We have added a 2 kg pack for you. Just feel free to check out. If they do check out, then you can enter them into a journey where you send this message out every month, right? You know, like for a particular aged pet, what is their consumption rate? How much time will they take to consume 2 kg? And based on that, it could be a 2 week reminder, it could be a monthly reminder, and you can gradually start converting them into a subscription purchase of sorts, right? Before we move to a few examples of how clients have done this, how will performance tracking happen? So, Vijay, I can, like, a little closer to the conversation, I can just share my screen and show you how these flows look on our dashboard. At each step, at each node in this journey, we have a download option where you can download a report. You can see, in fact, how many messages has been triggered, how many people have converted. Yeah, how many people have converted, how many people have, clicked through. Just 1 second. Yeah, sorry, I think Ipshita dropped off. I thought I dropped off. No worries. Yeah. So, Vijay, to answer your question, conversion tracking, performance, all of this is available in reports in analytics tab. You'll be able to zero down your report down to, hey, which customer went to which node, clicked what, saw what, read what button did they click. Each and every information is something which is very, very clearly available. Uh, so in our journey builder, you usually have blocks. Each of those blocks have a download option. Your entire journey has a download report option. You also have an analytics tab where you'll get a journey level report. You'll get a message level report on what happened where. You also get to attribute that, hey, these are the orders which I got from this journey, this particular journey. Very soon we'll also have if a journey has multiple messages, so which message actually led to a conversion, that also we'll have visibility on. But we currently already have how many click rates you got, how many messages got clicked. All of this information is available. Got it. So, Vijay, right now, all attribution for which order came from which flow, all of this is something which is already available in our analytics tab. If there is a further deep down required, and if it is something generic enough, we keep on adding it to our analytics page. That's not something you have to worry about data crunching specifically. But yeah, if we can connect after this call as well on any specific information you're looking for, I can definitely help you out there. Got it. We'll go through a few quick inspirations. Now, a key secret to how we run our cross sell and upsell flows is, as you can see, this is for a particular client. Whenever someone purchases a product, we wait for some time, and then we check in this Google sheet that, hey, if they bought this product ID, then what is the product ID we should recommend? And based on that, we send a message, which I think, Vijay, this answers your question as well. How many messages got sent? How many people clicked on these buttons? And at each node level, you have a visibility on how many people passed forward, right? So this level of information is already available in the flows. uh, this is a very, very simple, plain and simple flow. Few listed products. If they are matched, then we go forward. If they're not, we take it somewhere else. Right. So if the mapping exists in this Google sheet, then we send a particular message. If it doesn't, we send out a default message that, hey, hope you're enjoying product A. Why don't you look through our collections or through our new deals or through our new releases, right? Something different is there for, like I told you, right? There's a pet care partner who does something similar. Now, this is a deep dive journey, and this helps us kind of do those repeat nudges to, ask customers, hey, did your pet enjoy this? Do you want to try a 2 kg pack? Now that you've tried a 2 kg pack, do you want to And you can see the delay after each of these packs. So a 100-gram pack, we send a repeat message after 5 days. For like for bigger packs, for 300 grams, we send after 20 days, right? So this again is something which is completely modular from our end. All you have to do is figure out this, that if product A, then what should be recommended. And this is also something, if you already have this, well and good. If you don't already have this, need our help, we can definitely pitch it. Uh, Kind of a last question here. Do you want to set up restocking, cross-selling, or upselling flows? Just answer on the poll. We'll reach out to you proactively. We wanted to kind of get an understanding of whether or not you'd be like interested in us helping you set this up. Like I said, there are two ways to go about it. One, we can discuss the requirement. We'll just need a Google Sheet where we have this kind of an information. If you already have it ready and handy. If not, our team can help you in figuring out how to go about it. We can also recommend a few things from our end, given that we also have visibility on what is frequently purchased at your store. Hoping you have responded to that poll. I'll just we'll wait for 10 more seconds and then we can close the poll. Yeah. So that kind of brings us to the end of what we wanted to discuss. I'd want to actually do a quick, run through of this aspect, right? The first step is understanding your current purchase trends. The second is to automate and personalize. In understanding your purchase trends, there are multiple directions you can take. You can have a very simple collection to collection mapping. Anyone purchases from this collection, suggest this collection. You can have a use case based mapping. Someone who purchases for, like I said, oily skin, recommend for oily skin. We can do a blanket recommendation that, hey, anyone who purchases apart from my highest selling product, recommend them the highest selling product, or use customer reviews as a tool to kind of engage them, right? And the last part is kind of figuring out what combination of collections of products in your entire SKU list. What are those combinations that work together? And this is purely logical. Can be purely logical. Can be something which we can crunch down and figure with a Google Sheet. We can definitely help there. The next part is how can we automate and personalize. The first is figuring out what is a good time to nudge the customer. Ideally, for a experienced product, for something where people have to use it to see its value, you have to wait out a bit. You have to wait like 10-15 days before you can reach out. But if it's something that most of my purchases are impulse purchases, and I can kind of ride that bandwagon, why not as soon as the product is delivered, right? You can set up different delays for different products. You can set up different delays for different collections. That's completely up to you. That's purely going to be your call. We can definitely assist in that decision making. Next, we quickly went through a few examples of how this is done. Again, all of these are emulated examples, but these are live with our clients. Yep. So this kind of covers the restock and replenish journey. This will work beautifully for SKUs where you know that it has a timeline, it has an expiry, it has a consumption rate, right? Based on that, you can very easily predict now's the right time where I have to nudge the user to purchase the next one. Uh, Yep, so I'll just quickly show that you have a few columns here. What is the product ID that was bought, and what is the product ID that needs to be sold, and what is the frequency after which we have to cross sell this. It's as simple as that. There's no more complication other than that. Cool. I'll quickly take questions if anyone has any, and then I'll hand it over to Epshita. Just one second. This can be done only with our website orders, customers, or can we do this for offline orders or some other data that we have sourced? Vijay, the mapping which you have, the recommendation logic which you have, that can be from anywhere. That can be purely, logical, contextual also. Like someone's bought pens, sell them copies. Someone's bought uh, a pencil, sell them an eraser, right? It could be as logical as that. However, for these automations to kick in, these have to be Shopify orders. These have to be orders placed on Shopify, right? So, for example, if I place it on Amazon, the flow won't start on Big. So it has to be an order which starts on Shopify. But that Excel sheet, the Google sheet which we showed, that you can generate from anywhere, right? Hey, this is my business intelligence. This is my customer understanding as of now. That could be sourced from anywhere. And I think that should be the case because Shopify becomes like one tunnel where you might miss out on things. So it's good to have aggregated view. Any other questions, guys? I'll wait for a minute more. If there are any questions, if you guys are typing it out, I'll wait for a minute more, couple more minutes, and then we can proceed forward. Cool. I'm hoping there are no more questions which I'm like we have missed out. If at all there are, feel free to reach out to us. We will be like more than happy to kind of sit on a call and help you solve this out. Over to you, Upshita.
Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, everybody, for joining our webinar today. So, I just wanted to give a little insight as to what we do as BIC. So, we offer an all-in-one marketing solution. So, within marketing, we also give customer support. So, within marketing, you can broadcast your campaigns through multiple channels, say WhatsApp, Instagram, email, SMS, through a centralized platform that we provide. We also help in capturing lead. So we help in lead acquisition on websites using gamified growth tools like Spin the Wheel, Scratch Card, and reward widget pop-ups on your website. And we can also help you capture leads from your WhatsApp and Instagram ads and direct them to your WhatsApp chat. So for automation, we can help you capture leads on your Instagram and then drive them to DMs where you can help them with end-to-end chat there. And that is a similar thing can be done for WhatsApp. And within WhatsApp automation, you can also retarget them, send out broadcasts, and even run an NPS and CSAT flows. And so that was about what we provide. And for customer support, we have a centralized platform wherein you can manage all your customer conversations through a single dashboard. And if you want to know more about these and find out what we can do for your brand, then you can also fill in the form that's there in the chat. So we'll get on a one-on-one call with you and help you with your needs.